We all think we know what makes a truly great financial leader. But what if I told you the one skill that separates the good from the truly exceptional, the ones who actually shape a company's destiny, is a massive blind spot for almost the entire industry? The answer? Well, it's probably not what you're thinking. So let me just ask you straight up. What do you think is the single most important skill for a financial leader today? What's that one thing that takes them from being a number cruncher to a real strategic partner in the business? I'll give you a hint. It has absolutely nothing to do with being a wizard in Excel or memorizing more accounting rules. The real difference maker is something that, for many in finance, is a huge glaring blind spot. So, how do we know all this? Well, we're about to dig into the results of a really fascinating survey of these 151 financial leaders. And this isn't some abstract academic theory. This is what real leaders out in the trenches are saying they need to make a bigger impact right now. And what that data shows us is this massive disconnect, a genuine paradox in how financial leaders think and act. There's this huge gap between what they say is most important and where they actually put their time and energy. Okay, so who are these 151 leaders they talk to? Look at this. Nearly 2/3 of them are fractional CFOs. These are folks who live and die by the results they can deliver. If they don't create real, tangible value, they're out. So their perspective is absolutely laser-focused on what actually works. So with that in mind, what's their biggest priority? It's not building better models. It's not finding new software. Overwhelmingly, their biggest challenges are all about one thing: influence. It's about communicating numbers to actually change minds, getting other leaders genuinely excited about the strategy. It's about making the numbers mean something. And this lays out the paradox perfectly. On the one hand, their stated priority is all about influence and communication. But where do they actually invest their own time and money? Overwhelmingly, it's on more technical training, more frameworks, the hard skills they're probably already pretty good at. See that gap? That's the blind spot. The skills that are the hardest to get people to train on are the very communication skills that everyone agrees they need the most. It's a classic case of knowing you need to get better at something, but being way more comfortable just sharpening a tool you already know how to use. So the big question is, how do we fix this? How do we bridge that gap? Well, it's not about throwing away your technical frameworks. No. It's about completely reimagining what they're for, transforming them from tools of analysis into powerful tools of communication. This means we have to redefine what a framework even is. It's not just a spreadsheet. A great framework is a communication device. It's a simple structure that shows cause and effect, turning a really complex financial process into a clear story that any executive can get behind. A story that says, hey, if we do this, we are going to get that result. And here's the part that changes everything. Most people start with the technical framework, but the elite leaders, they flip it. They start with the narrative, the story that the numbers are trying to tell. And only then do they build a framework to support that story and use it to deliver some quick, tangible wins. And why does this matter so much? Because when your frameworks tell a compelling story, you stop having to justify your time by charging by the hour. Instead, you start demonstrating your value, and you get buy-in for those big, high-impact strategic projects that really move the needle for the whole business. But look, telling a great story isn't quite enough. To be a true strategic partner, that story has to connect directly to the absolute lifeblood of any business: getting and keeping customers. This quote was a theme that just kept popping up in the survey responses. It didn't matter if they were talking about their own consulting firm or the companies they worked for. The fundamental problem is always client acquisition. If you, as a financial leader, don't get that, you can't truly help the business grow. And really, it all boils down to understanding the numbers behind these three things. How do we find new customers? How do we keep the ones we already have? And how do we upgrade them to create even more value? If you can master the finances behind those three questions, your own value goes through the roof. This right here is the ultimate goal. Your value as a financial leader skyrockets the moment you can draw a straight, clear line from the money spent on a marketing campaign and that very first sales call all the way to the final number on the P&L statement. When you can show the CEO exactly where the most profitable clients are coming from, you're not just a finance person anymore, you are a growth driver. Okay, so when you combine that influential communication with a deep understanding of the company's growth engine, something really powerful begins to happen. You start with a trust snowball, and it's a self reinforcing cycle of impact that just keeps getting bigger. It all starts right here. You use your new narrative driven frameworks to deliver a fast, tangible result. Maybe something small, but something meaningful. A quick win that proves you know what you're talking about. That quick win becomes the currency you use to buy that initial trust. Other leaders and your clients, they see that you can deliver, and they start to lean in and listen a little more closely. You've earned their attention. Now, with that trust in the bank, you have the political capital to go bigger. You've earned the right to propose those larger, more strategic ideas and ask for more resources because you've proven you can get results. And as this cycle just repeats itself, quick win, more trust, bigger ideas, another win, you transform. You're no longer the person who just reports on the numbers, you become the indispensable strategic partner who helps create them. Trust isn't some one-time thing, it's a compounding asset. The more you deliver, the more trust you earn, and the more ambitious the projects you get to lead. It just builds on itself, getting bigger and faster, just like a snowball rolling downhill. So let's end with this one thought. Every P&L, every balance sheet, every single financial report you create is already telling a story. The only question is, are you the one narrating it, or are you just letting the numbers speak for themselves? Because mastering that story, that is the real key to unlocking your impact.